for the world.
Yeah.
Bulldog and the Rude Awakening Show. This is the Rude Awakening Show on demand.
With us right now is Colette Heimowitz. Good morning, Colette.
Good morning, Bulldog.
How are you this morning?
Very good.
Yes, you are. This is. I've got the book. Of course, you're good. You're eating right, not less. Here it is, right here. You see
That's right. I bet you like the not less part, right?
Yeah. I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Well,
Do we sound fat to you?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
I
am.
You've been doing this for a long time. In the past 25 years, what's the one thing that people may have been told that now you're like, well, we were wrong. Don't do that.
Yeah, I've been saying it for 40 years because most of the time, people try to eat better by making food choices by eating less.
okay.
To lose weight or to make better food choices, and then they wind up in a bad cycle of depriving themselves and then binge eating, because when you have a low-fat diet, low-calorie diet, you're hungry all the time.
Sure.
And no amount of willpower is going to stop you from picking up a donut.
I was a victim of that. I decided to go on one of those programs. It's probably familiar to a lot of people. You count your points.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, I can do this. But I was hungry all the time.
Well, that's not
Right.
good.
Right.
And it only works for a while.
Exactly. And then it's a vicious cycle, and you keep on trying, and for years the mantra has been eat less, exercise more, and that's all you need to do. Simply pull yourself away from the table. But it's not that simple. If you have the right combination of foods by choosing first high fiber carbohydrates that fill you up.
All right, like
healthy
what are?
fat,
Give me a more example. What is a high fiber carbohydrate?
lots of vegetables, fruits, nuts, whole grains instead of white grains,
Okay.
seeds, nuts, even legumes. All of those are healthy, high-fiber carbohydrates that keep you full, and they're released into the blood sugar steady. If you have a donut, you get that spike in blood sugar, you have the energy, you feel good, and 2 hours later you get the crash
Not if you eat two donuts.
But I will tell you those.
every 2 hours.
but really, that spike is fun sometimes.
The ride
isn't
is
it?
great.
Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
people crave it.
I'm just
And
chasing that
Sometimes-
next donut.
Sometimes you need it, don't you?
She's that donut dragon.
not if you eat right. Here we go. If you eat protein and healthy fats, fat is your friend on low carbohydrate. You're satisfied. Foods taste good. You're not hungry. And then you break that vicious cycle of having to have something sweet or high in caffeine and sugar every few hours.
If I choose this snack, let's say like I'm hungry and there's a vending machine at work and I just get peanuts all the time. Is that
That's good.
That's a good thing to do.
Peanuts are good.
Okay, peanuts
it's
are
perfect food because it has healthy fats, protein, and high fiber carbohydrates.
Hey, Marla, could you come in here a second?
What
I'd like you to
type-
run
yeah.
down to the vending machine and get me some peanuts.
about,
can,
like,
can you do
honey
me a favor
roasted
and
peanuts?
get me peanuts, Marla?
I don't have any nuts.
What do you mean? I just want. Here's money.
Just run downstairs and get 'em.
downstairs to the
There is
vending machine.
Well, it'll be a problem
Doc,
because
this
I took our
is
vending
Marlo.
machine. Hi, Doc.
And she's got a vending machine problem. She goes there all
I
the
go
time.
there to get nuts because I the only thing that's ever worked for me so far is the low carb. It's hard to get the ball rolling though at first,
Yeah, you have to break some addictions, but I usually tell people just give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks of cutting back on sugar and carbs, and then when your appetite is under control, I look at it that I just never want to go back to feeling hungry all the time and feeling deprived all the time. And then you choose to eat the right foods rather than saying I can't have this or I can't have that. That's another vicious cycle people get into.
I'm
and then they want
on
to reward
48
it.
hours.
You're on
Yeah,
what?
there you go.
48 hours of low carb, and I've done good, and one day at a time.
How has your journey been on getting off carbs?
It's
Wait,
You went cold turkey.
Wait, hold on. When
It
did you
sucks.
start this thing?
I started it 2 days ago. I haven't had any sugar. I haven't had any.
No nausea, no sweating.
I'm a little bit tired, and I feel like,
'Cause I
That's
heard.
what your body's making the switch.
Yep.
You switch from a sugar metabolism to a fat
Oh
metabolism.
man, I
When
tried.
you burn fat, you lose weight.
I tried that, and I had flu-like symptoms. It was
I-
bad.
I've done it on and off for 20 years. I'll lose the weight, and then I start binging again and all that crap. But
Yeah, well, you know what?
Help her.
You're hanging around the wrong people.
There's no way that you should feel deprived if you're doing it right. There's always a low-carb alternative to a high-carb food. This morning I made, on the weekend I do most of my cooking because I don't have time to cook during the week. So I have this great seed nut flaxseed bread that I toast and I put butter on it and I put avocado, and I have it with an egg. And that fills me up for a couple of hours. And then we have desserts in the book. You could have cheesecake. You could have brownies. There's always a low-carb alternative to a high-carb food.
Oh, I thought we were going to Cheesecake Factory. I was like, I'm all in.
Isn't a low-carb brownie just a spoonful of cocoa powder?
No, well, there's ways to use low-carbohydrate flours like coconut flour and almond flour and seed flour. And those combinations, give you the same texture, the same taste, and the same sweetness.
Now this one, that's what feed the POWs.
I'm looking at this here, Colette, and it has this half a cup of stevia. I thought that stuff's not good for you.
Well, stevia is an
good for
herb.
you.
It's
Oh, that's a
natural.
good one
It's not
for
an-
you. Okay.
Yeah, that's not an
natural.
artificial sweetener.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So would you recommend these two, like for induction? You know how the induction period's like...
No, not them.
Yeah,
no,
right.
that's
You have
like-
to keep it
we have
under
a whole
20 carbs a
chapter.
day.
Yeah, that's too extreme for them. I don't think I wouldn't start them on that. I would start them on the Atkins 40 or even the Atkins 100 because you could back into the program. You don't have to start real low and then increase gradually. You could start at 100 if you counted your carbs and ate 100 carbs a day from the acceptable food list of high-fiber carbohydrates. You'll feel better, and then if you want to lose more weight and speed it up, then you go down to 80 or 60.
I'm on 20.
So how do you measure a carb? One carb, what does that look like?
There's an app. You could get any kind of app for carb counting, and you don't have to count fiber. So we only count net carbs. So whatever the total carb is minus fiber, that's all you need to count because fiber has no impact on blood sugar, and you want all that fiber.
But visualize it for me. If I'm looking at one carb, is it like a dime? Is it a crumb?
Right. So, okay. So an apple has about 20 grams of carb in it. Vegetables have maybe 3 or 4 grams of carb. Berries have, a cup of berries has about 5 net carbs in it. Ounce of nuts have about 6 net carbs in it. So you have to pick the lower carb, higher fiber types of carbohydrates, and then, it won't add up so fast. But if you pick
I'm sorry.
I love carrots.
pasta or Italian bread, then you're talking 30 grams of carbs right there.
Okay.
I'm not really great at math, so how do you subtract the fiber from the carbohydrates? Because I've always been really confused about that.
Yeah, so you just look at a label. If you're buying packaged food, you look at total carbs and you look at fiber grams and you subtract the fiber from total carbs. And the only carbs you need to count are the net carbs, which is total carbs minus fiber.
Colette,
and that
you
allows
don't, you
to
don't
have more
understand.
bulk.
She's really bad at math.
She already takes a long time at the grocery
Really?
store.
So
She'll
You
be there
have
for
an
hours.
iPhone. Come
Yeah,
on,
but yeah, I can do it. I can
calculators on the
divide. Yep.
iPhone.
So
I
it's-
can't do it in my head either.
All
I
right,
realize.
once again, for our listeners, it's total carbs
minus fiber.
minus fiber equals net carb.
Yeah, and that's all you need to count.
Okay.
Now this book that I'm having right here, I mean, the photos look amazing.
I know.
They look incredible.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is. It's Atkins.
Get inspired. You want to aspire to eating like that. And we have 15-minute meals in there. We have one-pot meals. Like I said, I only cook on the weekends, and then I eat leftovers the rest of the week, or I take out when I run out of food because I don't have time to cook every day. But if you do, the slow cookers or
Yeah, I love those things.
soups or, the big one-pot meals, you can pick on that all week.
Right.
Thank you for playing a one-pot meal.
I do have a question. Isn't this it's a higher protein diet, right? This one?
No, because, it's 4 to 6 ounces of protein a meal. You
Okay.
need the protein to replenish cells. And if you are exercising and building muscle, you need the protein.
Okay.
But you only need 4 to 6 ounces a meal. You don't need a 20-ounce steak every time.
Oh, but they're good.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they are. And on occasion, you can indulge.
Okay.
But when your appetite is satisfied, you tend not to overindulge too often. If you're eating your 3 meals a day and maybe even a snack or 2 in between meals, there's no need to gorge.
Okay. Well, like I said, the book is here, and it's Eat Right, Not Less. Everybody likes the not less part.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Because we live in America.
So now, is this book out yet, or is it
Yeah,
released?
you can get it on Amazon.com or on Atkins.com.
Okay. And where do you go next? What's your next one you're coming up with?
Well, I don't know yet. We'll see the reaction we get from this, and then usually I go by the feedback that I get from people reading my books. Like, this book really addressed the people that are looking for more of a lifestyle and not a diet. So I have lots of options in there for them and different levels of carbohydrate, and and talk about the hidden sugar effect. People don't, people watch their sugar grams, but they don't realize that carbohydrates they eat convert to blood sugar. So you have to watch those, what I call hidden sugars from high carbohydrate foods.
Well, you just said the thing. You just said the one thing. I mean, in order to sustain this, you have to have a lifestyle change.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you have to be able to sustain this type of a diet. And I guess this one is sustainable.
And that's what I attempted to do in this book, to teach people how to make it a lifestyle and not a diet you go on and off of like a bus ride.
Mm-hmm.
And so, once I get my finger on the pulse of what people are looking for and what people need, then that's how I come up with my next book.
All right. This one is out. It's Atkins Eat Right, Not Less.
Thank
Colette
you.
Heimowitz, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Nice meeting you
thanks
guys. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Rude Awakening Show on demand. The Rude Awakening Show is recorded live in the studios of WOCM. Any questions or feedback can be directed to Bulldog at ocean98.com. Tune in to The Rude Awakening Show live Monday through Friday from 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern on the best of rock. Ocean 98.